Hi, everyone. Kelly Jean Dammeyer here, and I'm the founder of Kelly Jean Wellness. And I help women 40 and up really feel and look their very best and really lose weight the healthy way and be able to reverse health conditions and get out of feeling symptoms and truly thrive, in perimenopause and menopause. So I have with me here today Leslie Ward, who I've known since the early 90s, actually. And, I've been working with Leslie for the last few years, and it's just absolutely a joy to be able to help somebody that I truly care about, be able to get to a place where, I mean, she is living health and she has turned so many issues around in her body and in her life, and personally, it's just, I had to share Leslie with you guys. And, hopefully, she's going to be an inspiration to those of you who are, I don't, if you're 40, 50, 60, and you are feeling like you are, miserable, physically, and maybe you're feeling spun out in life, or maybe you're dealing with some compulsive eating issues, or, you just can't lose weight no matter what. Maybe you've got hot flashes going on. Maybe you're, experiencing insomnia, feeling inflammation in your body, all these things. I want you to know Leslie went through them, and she has been able to get to the other side of them and really learn the tools and become empowered in being able to know how to navigate through life in a way that naturally she's approaching her health, so that she's not having to fall into the arms, or into the hands of Western medicine and ending up on medications. And also, she's not resigning to the fact that, oh, I'm 60. By the way, she's 60. You're never going to believe that. Look at her. My gosh. And thinking that, oh, I'm 60. Therefore, I should feel this way because this is just what happens when we turn this age. She said this brilliantly. And I want you to hear from Leslie today. Everyone, I am going to introduce you to Leslie here. Leslie, oh my gosh, thanks for being here today and sharing so openly with the world. Hello. I love that.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy. I'm just, yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess I just want to share, you had just spoken, before we got on here, you had just talked to me about something that was a really good point. Will you want to say that again, to just the fact of how everybody, when they get to a certain age, oftentimes feel like, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like for women, it's we know these hormonal changes are coming, and you hear a lot of talk about perimenopause and menopause, and then you hear women talk about whether it's like a lagging sex drive, or they can't sleep. You hear a lot about sleepless nights and hot flashes and all these things. And so I feel like we get to a certain age and it's almost expected. Like we know these things are coming, and then we think we have to live with them, or we think the only alternative is to go on HRT, hormone replacement therapy, which everybody's terrified of because nobody wants to get cancer. So, we feel like we only have these two options. It's either to suffer in silence or go on some sort of protocol we don't really want to go on. And, happily, that's not true. Like the happy discovery for me is that I feel better than I did, I think, even in my 40s. I feel better because I have energy I didn't even know I could have. My attitude toward life is so much better. The brain fog is lifted. I don't have hot flashes. I don't, my blood sugar is stabilized. I just feel amazing, and I didn't expect it. And I think that we don't have to settle, and we don't have to accept that at a certain age we're just going to feel crappy. Like, I don't think that's the way it has to go. It's not, because I'm living proof that it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, I know I don't look 60, but I also don't feel 60, which is even more important. Thanks to Kelly Jean, because, I was kind of headed in that direction and wasn't feeling great and was struggling with a lot of food issues and a lot of just lethargy and fatigue and all sorts of things that we've now addressed. And I feel better than I ever have. So I don't think we have to settle.
No, we don't have to settle. And I'm 54 and feel like, just like you're saying, better than I did in my 20s and my 30s and even in my 40s. And, it just keeps getting better and better because, we keep learning more and more and more too. I don't stop. That's the thing. It's like, I don't stop learning. I don't stop taking it to the next level.
Right.
And, once you get on this path, oftentimes, you just, I always say people adapt to a level of misery. And that used to be me. I used to adapt to a level of misery. But now, once you know what vitality feels like and real radiant health, then it's not acceptable anymore of feeling tired or, not, feeling pain in the body or this or that. It's like that stuff doesn't, yeah, that's unacceptable, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's always taking it to the next level, the next level. So that's what's fantastic.
And sometimes you can be miserable and not even know you're miserable. Like when you say we adapt to a certain level of misery, it's like that just becomes our sort of resting state and normal. That's what we think is normal. And you don't realize until you start addressing issues and feeling better, like, oh, that was miserable, or you're unhappy, but you just think there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right. That's right. And, it does take all of us finally hitting some sort of a bottom before we become ready to really be led to, on the path, right? And
Yeah.
really get to the other side. And so, let's talk a little bit about that. 3 years ago, you really hit a bottom. I mean, it was, you really came to me, really feeling absolutely pretty devastated over the inability to control your eating. I mean, you were really suffering from compulsive overeating issues. And so we really started there. And of course, the nutrition piece of, you really wanted to get that weight off and you really wanted to feel like you could get some control over your eating. So that's where we started. And the first place I always start with everyone, of course, is get the physiological piece in place immediately, which is blood sugar stabilizing with the nutrition, because that is going to physically help minimize the cravings and start to help your moods stabilize, right? A lot of the moods that my clients are going through is, has a lot to do with their blood sugar spiking. So that's the first place we, go is the nutrition and getting your blood sugar stabilizing, knowing how to do that. And then watching the weight come off just perfectly, right? So that you're not tapping into lean body mass, but rather the body is burning fat and keeping all that great lean body mass intact. And so, and you were feeling that, right up front immediately.
Yeah. I mean, I felt it really, really fast. It changes quickly. So you don't have to wait a long time to see results or to feel results. And for me, when I start feeling better, even before I started seeing results, which did happen quickly, but I started feeling better almost immediately. So that just was really encouraging. And then I started wanting to feel better and better. And then, I eliminated a bunch of stuff from my diet that was not serving me. And then it started looking like you could see it quickly. It didn't take long. And that's like, for me, like, it's all about instant gratification.
For everyone.
For everyone, like, who doesn't want to start seeing and feeling their best, so like looking and feeling their best. So that happened. That piece comes to, it starts with the food, and then that piece comes together pretty quickly. And then that's motivating to just keep going. And then the better I felt, the more I wanted to discover and feel better and better. And so, yeah, the changes do not take a long time. It's amazing. If you've struggled in the past or you've had compulsive eating issues in the past, I grew up my whole life, it's all been about the food. And this just really was a quick turnaround.
Yeah. And and so I think that too, it's having that support and being able to recognize some of the driving forces behind the compulsive eating and learning how to absolutely turn those around. I think that, one of your family members, like, I won't talk about that family member if you don't want to, but was a real big source of your eating, would happen from your reactions to that person that you were very close to and that had just, that was like a lifelong battle for you. And and that turned around for you. You began to take your power back and start to feel more feeling more empowered, over the way that you were reacting or responding to that in that relationship. So that your go-to was not the food anymore, but rather feeling the pain. I think that's actually what I love to talk about too, is how I love to help people understand how to feel, their emotions and step up to them in a way that, they begin to understand that they're not the monster that they thought they were, these emotions. Right. And, I was like the queen of avoidance when it came to my emotions. Like, I was addicted to alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, and food. I had it all. And it was just, absolutely every single thing I ate, drank, smoked, and used over. So by the time I really had to learn how to step into and experience and feel and be present to my emotions, that part of my human self. And then also to learn how to be able to transcend them and really get them, diffuse them, right? And so that you're not suffering in a state of major, emotional upheaval, over life situations and circumstances. So it's really kind of learning about how to operate through life and navigate through life in new ways.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing is, yeah, absolutely. And the thing that was kind of amazing to me too was like there was a piece of this that like the confidence that I felt once I had control over my food gave me sort of the foundation to then step into being willing and knowing that I could handle whatever else came down the pike in terms of emotions or any of that. And really, that old saying, like the only way out is through, is so true. And it's like, I had to learn that my emotions do not need to consume me. They don't need to run me. And, it just kind of one piece fit in after the next, and it all sort of unfolded really beautifully to where I then, once I had the food and the blood sugar under control and it was no longer controlling me, which also affected my moods, then I could step into knowing, like really knowing that I could manage my life and I did not need the food to do that for me. Because the food never really did that for me anyway, right?
Exactly.
So,
that's right. It just compounds the problems. It just compounds the problems. And the solution you never get to the solution.
No.
Right? Nothing changes.
No, because the food in that moment is a solution until it's the problem. I mean, it's the problem and the solution. In that immediate moment, it's the solution and it just numbs you until you come to and the problem is still there. So, and then the food is also another problem on top of the problem. So the food never fixed anything for me.
So incredible. Yeah. It's just amazing. And, and doing the other work too, like going into other work and being able to really balance the chemistry with supplements, the right types of supplements, understanding how to implement supplements, the really, really good quality ones. And, getting your essential fatty acids right, your D3 levels, and, also looking at, getting the right types of probiotics and doing some gut repair and being able to, even bring in some superfoods that help restore collagen in the body. And all these things have such a huge factor in, our health and our, level of vitality as we are in these years in our 40s, 50s, 60s. And so, you really were ready to just go to the next piece and take on the next piece. And, even working with essential oils and being able to implement those into your life in very powerful ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, the thing is that, once you reach a certain age, it's not just about, like, for a compulsive eater especially, it's not just about the food, it is about so many other things. And you can't just go on a diet and have that fix everything. Like, I can go on a diet. I've been on every diet there is, and I can lose weight on every diet there is. But at a certain point, especially at a certain age, there are other things you do need to bring in to feel your best and all that. And it's all really great that we have these things available to us. They are homeopathic. They're not me needing to go to a doctor and get a bandage medication to fix the symptom and never the underlying cause of the problem. With you, I get to fix the underlying root cause and address my health on every level. And it's so beautiful that I get to do that without big pharma or whatever it is. I just really get to take care of myself and feel like I'm managing my health, and that I don't need to rely on some medical professional to tell me, take this, it's amazing.
So many people are lost, and they, or they see things or they hear things online that say, oh, this is good for you, or that is good for you. And then they just start taking off with that. I mean, I've had a lot of clients too that, they come to me with like bags of supplements, all these different supplements that, because they heard this was good for them and that was good for them. And they didn't realize that, gosh, too much isn't good either. You don't want to bombard the body with supplements, but you want to know how to, and what's it's understanding what is the focus at that given time. Are we doing gut repair? Are we doing some adrenal healing? What are we doing? And definitely we're always filling in deficiencies and making sure that that's, your B's are all settled and you've got your D3 levels settled and, you got the multis and things like that. Right. But it's, a lot of people don't really realize that, you really got to know what you're focusing on. And then, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's right. And I was going to say that, like you say, people hear this is good for you, that's good for you. Everybody should be taking this. So we all go out and buy it. But then the truth is, you don't always need all those things at the same time. And it may not be good to take them all at the same time. And sometimes you take something until that issue gets corrected and then you no longer need that thing. So with you, through blood tests and through doing work with you, like we've been able to address issues as they come up. And then at certain points, I stop taking certain things or I start taking new things to address something else, so it's just really important to be working with somebody on this so that you can be guided by somebody who knows what they're doing rather than looking on the internet and going, oh, everybody's taking this. Maybe I should take that too. When you don't really even know what it's doing for you specifically, everybody's chemistry is different.
Yep.
So I feel like when working with you, I get to really address my individual chemistry and what my body needs. It's no one size fits all for everybody. There are some things we all need, obviously, but I just feel like what you do is very specialized and specific to each client, which is great.
Yeah, and it's been fun working with you. I'll tell you, because you are that person that's saying, I want to feel my very, very best. I really want to go all the way with my life, with my health, and so it's really been a gift. And we've even done the fitness together, and that's another piece. And so it's wonderful to and I think that will save for another talk, you and I, because that fitness is just sort of almost like its own entity. It's like its own topic. And it's a big one for me because I started out as a fitness professional back in 99. And, I had my own studio for a few years and I was doing fitness before I ever did anything. And so I really mastered the body early on. And it's like, that's why it's such a passion of mine as well. And I'd rather save that for another talk because we've done some beautiful work with fitness and you're really recognizing how to approach and exactly how to approach your fitness in your now 60s. I can't believe it still that you're 60 and it's like
me either.
Yay. And in ways that you're setting yourself up for major longevity. It's building up that core muscular strength and doing it in the right way. So we'll save that for another talk with everyone. I do want to share some of the things that people need to know about fitness. So, but for now, I think that I just really wanted people out there, those of you who are really struggling, and you are either approaching menopause or you're in menopause. You feel spun out. You feel spun out in symptoms and maybe life, and you're feeling more emotional than ever, feeling more stressed than ever, and not feeling grounded in who you are, and feeling certainly your health taking a toll. And listen, there is a way out. I'm telling you, a way to the other side. And it is amazing how quickly the shifts happen. They really do when you're being led in the right ways. I always say that to you. You got to be led in the right ways. And when you are, you should be feeling change and shifts happen very quickly. Like within the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then you're just like, by a month, you should be like feeling like a whole new person. So anyway, it's here for you, health and wellness and a great life and feeling the best that you ever have felt. It is possible for you too. And Leslie, I just want to thank you for taking the time today to share your wisdom and your experience with everyone. It's always a joy working with you. And I absolutely thank you so much. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you again. This is fun with Leslie. So we'll have more of these talks with you. All right. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And you can always, reach out to me. You can, if this is on Facebook, you can private message me and I will set up a time to talk with you. And or you can always email me at info@kellyjeanwellness.com and you can get a free consult with me. I'm happy to give that to you. And you can also visit me at kellyjeanwellness.com. Have a beautiful day. Bye, Leslie.
Bye.